Can everybody see my screen?
Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to have you with us on this beautiful Wednesday, August 12th. And yes, we are beyond privileged to have with us Dr. Courtney, who not only is a doctor, but she's a newer mama, not brand new, but definitely one that comes to us with experience. And we are delighted because of the little bit that I've been able to follow them the last, really since she's been expecting. She is a mom that raises her loving son as pure and wholesome as ever could be. And we're just excited to have her with us. Okay. Next Tuesday is a hands-on forest bathing, so that it is live, and so you can see in the address. So come on down and join us. And then if you're local to the Eau Claire area, improve focus, memory, and mood naturally. Wendy is teaching a class at the Senior Center. It will be outstanding, so please join her for that as well. And then the next week, guess who we get to have? Her husband. Dr. Shane is with us next week. Immune and back to school, as many people fear. What are our kids and grandkids going to be bringing home? And he's going to be going over a lot of tips and tricks and protocols, you name it. And then Wednesday, August 26th is Pelvic Floor 101 and Make It Fun. So we're just excited to have the next 3 weeks, including tonight, all the doctors that are just outstanding. So we're beyond thrilled. If you are within an hour and a half of Eau Claire, please join us on October 6th, a business training with Betty Torres. It is 4:30 to 8:30. Even if you are wondering, do I want to share doTERRA? How do I share doTERRA? How do I even talk to my family members about it? What knowledge do I need? Anything like that. It isn't just business, so please register. It's only $10, and it is at the Metropolis in Eau Claire. And we are beyond delighted to have Betty's expertise with us on October 6th. And we just finished this up today, guys. We are so excited. This is a highlight. We've been working very closely with corporate. We had to interview. We got approved. And we are going to have a post-convention tour. This is not one sponsored by us. This is sponsored by corporate. So please click on the QR code. There's a lot of options. You'll see both morning and afternoon. And the morning classes are going to be different than, or the afternoon different than the evening class. So great to have her with us. She's going to do a lot of product training, going to be hands-on stations, and both Betty Torres, Jamie Peterson, and myself are helping to co-host this. But this is a corporate event, and we are beyond thrilled to have been selected and interviewed to have this amazing class. And Lauren Bush is a nurse practitioner. She's Director of Product Education, and just really a good opportunity to join this in Baldwin. And feel free to register today. I know this is going to be a sold-out event because it's so cheap. So I am, if this is it, Killa, you can stop. Oh, and the convention kit, you will see. This is the last day, I believe, is tomorrow. And so if you're looking to join convention, please register. It is the 23rd to the 26th in Orlando this year. So we hope that you will join us. If not, at least get in the virtual, but we would love to have you join us live. It is going to be the biggest convention box ever of 15 new products, and the steepest discounted for those folks that attend it live. And without further ado, again, we are beyond blessed, excited, thrilled to have with us Dr. Courtney, who is co-founder with her husband of the Wellness Way and Osseo. an expert definitely on this topic and and a dear friend of ours. Without further ado, Dr. Courtney.
Let me share my screen here. All right, can we see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you for everybody who's joining us tonight. Like Sandy said, I am Dr. Courtney, and my husband and I own the Wellness Way Osseo. And the Wellness Way is really a network of what we call as health restoration clinics. So we think and act a lot differently to solve health challenges that a lot of other people can't. So a lot of times we're people's last resort, but more and more we're becoming people's first resort and the ones that they go to ask how to handle, especially kids things. Our clinic is very pediatric heavy. I think today I saw at least 20 kids, whole families coming in to get care, whether that's to be adjusted because I am first and foremost a chiropractor, or to get some type of testing, supportive supplements, education, you name it. So like Sandy said, we have a 1.5-year-old. His name is Tyler. So we are currently in the trenches. We've dealt with the teething, we've dealt with the ear infections, we've dealt with the norovirus with him. And even before having him, my passion has always been pregnancy and pediatrics. So I've been taking care of other people's children before my own for years before that. So tonight, I really want to hit home on just the foundational free things that we need to make sure that we're doing for our children to set them up for the rest of their lives. Um, I'm going to talk about common ailments like the teething, ear infections, what to do about fevers, all that type of stuff. So hopefully this is very applicable and some nice reminders and then some new things that we hopefully will take home tonight. Um, so let's get rolling. Come on. Okay, so why are so many children today struggling with eczema, allergies, constipation, ear infections, anxiety, poor sleep, behavioral issues, and weakened immune systems? And the truth is that we do not live in the same world that ourselves, our parents, or grandparents raised their children in. We're looking at a totally different environment. We have more toxins than ever, more processed food. We have less sunlight. Kids are outside a lot less, which means less movement. Antibiotics are given out much more. There's tons and tons of screens. There's a lot more stress on the kids these days. But the very, very good news is what hasn't changed is that our children's bodies are beautifully designed to heal and adapt when we give them the right environment and the right support. And this is true for kids, but it's also true for all of us. So a lot of this is going to be applicable to yourselves, but tonight we're trying to focus on the kids. Oops, wrong way. Okay, so where are we at? You could call it a state of emergency where our children are really facing a health crisis right now. It is very, very sad. 1 of 2 children have a chronic illness. Chronic meaning they've had it for a long time and they're only children, so they haven't even been here that long. 1 in 3 are overweight. 1 in 5 have a learning disability. 1 in 10 have liver disease. Fatty liver is now being found in children. 1 in 12 have asthma. 1 in 10 have ADHD. 1 in 12 have food allergies. And the last stat, this is from 2016, so these are even worse than what they are now. That says 1 in 40 have autism. That's like in California alone, autism is in 1 in 12 boys. So these rates have skyrocketed since 2016 in the last 10 years. While we were in the COVID pandemic, something interesting happened. The CDC also changed the milestones for children very quietly, and a lot of people totally missed it or wouldn't even know. They changed a walking milestone from 12 to 18 months, and then the talking milestone from 12 months to 15 months. And that's due to all the things I talked about on the prior slide. I mean, the environment that our children are living in is not necessarily positive. So I talked about the children's beautiful body ability to heal, to adapt. And I will say everything is about being able to adapt, whether it's a child or you're talking about yourself. Our bodies always want to be in balance, this fancy homeostasis word. And you've got some wiggle room where when you get sick, your body's going to adapt, your immune system's going to kick in, and you can go either way on the spectrum. But once you hang out in this disease pathology, maybe it's an ear infection, and when we're talking about kids, maybe it's a stomach bug, you don't want to hang out here for long. Once you're stuck in this disease pathology, that's the chronic illness that we're talking about that's running rampant within our children. So it's all about being able to go out, but then come right back in. How quickly is your body, your child's body, able to adapt? So let's talk about the foundation of healthy kids. And this is the foundation for honestly healthy humans. We need sunlight. We need proper nutrition. We need proper hydration. We need good quality sleep. We need to be in nature with our bare feet on the ground, and we need to take care of our nervous system. So sunlight, literally fuel for your body. First and foremost, everyone thinks, of course, of vitamin D. Vitamin D actually is more of a hormone than a vitamin, and it does so many things for your immune system, your brain function, building bone density, your hormones, and overall development. Sunlight is your body's natural way of making vitamin D. Sunlight also helps with your circadian rhythm, being able to wake up in the morning and fall asleep at night. Sunflowering is a fun way to think about getting sunlight in the morning. So if you take your kids outside, it's best to do it right after they wake up. And we even do this when it's cold. Okay, living in Wisconsin, we still do this in the winter. And you could do it from inside, but the goal is that you're going to basically pretend you're a flower, and you're going to close your eyes and you're going to find the sun with your eyes closed, and you're going to perk up just like a flower would perk up in the sun. That helps your circadian rhythm, which then will help you sleep. It helps your hormones. It helps your body know what time of day it is. Very, very beneficial and very fun for you and your children. You should try it. If you haven't found the sun, even if it's not in the morning, but find the sun, close your eyes, but find it and just like let it beat in on you, whether you're outside or inside, it can totally change your mood. And speaking of mood, that sunlight helps support the production of serotonin, which is most commonly called that feel-good hormone, and can absolutely promote a healthier mood and can give you energy. The increase in vitamin D is going to help your immune system, which obviously is very important when you're a child and very important when you're an adult. And like I said, the sunlight is going to help you sleep better. So we try to go on a morning walk and an evening walk because that helps with a circadian rhythm and really, really helps children, one, get fresh air, but helps them sleep a heck of a lot better. One interesting thing I wanted to add on the sunlight page is that I want to caution people wearing sunglasses all the time because it will trick your body into thinking that you are not in the sun. So you will tend to, and you can do this own personal experiment, but you will tend to burn more if you are wearing sunglasses than if you're not. I used to be a sunglass fanatic. I wore them as a fashion statement. And now I haven't worn sunglasses. I think I'm on year 2, maybe going on year 3. And at first it's shocking because your eyes are not used to that much sunlight, but it gets easier and easier and you feel better and better. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about some ways that if we're going to be in the sunlight, obviously, doTERRA has some great products. Now I want to propose sunscreen, a clean sunscreen, just like doTERRA has, but I do want you to try to get your kids and yourself a little bit of sunlight without having sunscreen on, because that does block some of the healthy rays that you're getting from the sun, right? Now that's like we can do limited exposure. We can do morning and evening versus being out in the dead of sun. But if you are in the dead of sun, maybe your kids are playing sports, then applying sunscreen to make sure they're not burning, of course, is crucial. But we love the after sun. Even if there's burns, this correct X a little goes a long way, can really help calm the burns. Same with after sun. And another interesting fact about the vitamin D production that you get naturally from the sunlight, the darker you get, the tanner you are, the less vitamin D your body is going to make from the sun. So I am someone who tans very quickly and very dark. I get very dark in the summer. So I still take vitamin D all summer long. And I know that I need to because we run labs at our office. So I know where my labs are always at. But the fairer your skin is, of course, you're more prone to burning, but you actually get a lot more vitamin D than those of us that tan quickly. Let's see. I see some of these sunlight questions quick. What about wearing prescription glasses all day and being in the sun? I'm mostly talking about sunglasses. Obviously, I know you have prescription like sunglasses, and you need those. But if it were me, I would wear regular prescription glasses and not have a sunglass version.
We'll stop the recording, Dr. Courtney, and then you're able to join those. That's the benefit of being on the call live. So you can hold your question.
Okay, we'll wait. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, let's talk about nutrition. Okay, so obviously the quality of the fuel that we put in our cars is the same type of thought process we need to have about the food we're putting in our mouths and our child's mouth. Now, it's always interesting to see how the body is actually made up. So 65% of our body is water. The next big chunk is protein. Then we got fats, minerals, and a small amount of carbohydrates, meaning sugars. So we really want to stay hydrated. We really want to focus on protein, and we really want to focus on fat. So when we feed Tyler, we actually didn't feed him till he was at least 1 year old. He was exclusively breastfed. The reason we made that choice is if you were to open a physiological textbook, it's going to tell you that the intentional leaky gut that a baby has is to properly absorb all the nutrients from mom's milk. That intentional leaky gut does not come together until about 1 year old, or they have a couple teeth. Those teeth are telling you that they're actually ready for food. So this is controversial, but I do not agree with giving 3 months old, 6 month old cereals and soft foods, pureed even. We waited, and then we introduced what's called baby-led weaning, where they would have larger chunks of food, not necessarily even eat them well, but be able to play with textures, gnawing on big, hunks of meat and big carrots, and play around in avocados and stuff like that. And it tends to go a lot better later in life because they're exposed to real food, can play with real textures, and it helps with their facial and jaw development as well. So proteins first, because that's the biggest portion of our body besides water. Then you're going to focus on healthy fats, some fruits and veggies to get those fibers. Those are also, fruits and veggies are going to be a sugar, a carb somewhat, and then quality carbs too. So if you want to take a quick snapshot of this graphic, that's fine. I would say like for Tyler's breakfast these days, he gets some chicken sausage, organic chicken sausage. We try avocados. We do eggs, whether that's scrambled or hard boiled. And I'll usually give him like a fruit and a veggie with each meal too. He does sardines. Um, we do Braunschweiger or liverwurst. I mean, the sooner you start them on things like that, they don't even know the difference. I can't even tolerate Braunschweiger or liverwurst. Shane loves it, but now Tyler does too. And organ meats are some of the most nutritional dense options for kids. So talking about quality, I just wanted to bring up how to read meat labels. When you're looking at beef, you want to find organic, grass-fed, grass-finished. If you're looking for poultry, chicken, turkey, you're looking for organic, pasture or pasture raised. Okay, not cage-free because they could be in a cement building with a tiny door to just, that means they're not in a cage, but it doesn't mean they have a good quality living experience. Pork is going to be organic pasture raised or woodland raised pork. And then fish, you're going to look for wild caught or Alaskan caught is going to be your better sources. All of those options are going to have less toxins, higher nutritional values. They're not going to have, hormones and things added to them, which are really disruptive to our children's development and our own health as adults. If you haven't heard of EWG, it's the Environmental Working Group, and every year they test our produce in the United States and tell us this clean 15 and a dirty dozen list. The clean 15 are the foods that are the least sprayed or the least amount of pesticides, toxins on these produce. So you can typically buy these non-organic if you have to. Okay, these are the safest conventional. This would be another good page to take a picture of, or go to ewg.org. They also have a site where you can check your drinking water for toxins too. So a lot of these you'll notice, not all, but some of them are going to have like an outer layer, right? Your avocado has an outer layer that you're not eating. Sweet corn has an outer layer. Pineapple, you're not eating the outside. So that also helps with the protection of toxins as well. The direct spray isn't going to be on the fruit, but you're still going to get some. You still get glyphosate and toxin exposures even with organic foods because it's water soluble and it's everywhere at this point. These dirty dozen are the ones you really, really have to buy organic. And the biggest one for kids, because kids, I think, get addicted to strawberries and blueberries and eat families out of house and home for berries, which is great, but they have to be organic. Strawberries are always, per pound, the most sprayed with pesticides. They are so sprayed that you could blend up or smush strawberries into a liquid and spray it back on the fields as a pesticide. That's how effective it still works. So you have to get these ones organic at all costs. Okay, so now we're building better plates, better lunches. We are choosing better quality meats and better quality produce. So here are some ways that we can also support our children's digestion. Now, depending on the age, obviously sometimes they're not going to be able to swallow the capsules yet, which is why I have an alternative on here until they can. We've got the really, really good digestion blend, DigestZen, just the oil itself that you can put directly on their belly or diffuse. The Terrazyme is really, really good balance of enzymes to help break down food. Now that's going to be for an older child who can swallow the capsule, or if you got really creative, you could put it in applesauce or pudding or something, but you'd have to have them eat that first before eating like some other foods, okay? Then this is I got this off of the doTERRA place, but this is not what it looks like now, the PB Assist. These are great for your child's microbiome. They literally taste like pixie sticks. This is like the easiest thing to get any age child and adult to take to help with digestion and their microbiome. Just the alternative that I have is one that we have, which is kind of like Terrazyme, but it's chewable. So some of the kids that can handle the chewables are going to do a little bit better when they're younger, chewing something, and then they can switch to the capsule you can swallow. Okay, hydration. Bare minimum, this is what we all need. Our children need water, minerals, which includes salt, and whatever reservoir water bottle we're using needs to be non-toxic. So no plastic water bottles for kids, no plastic water bottles for you, okay? This is a company called Clean Canteen, and they have some very cute water bottles, cups. These are all stainless steel, but they have the silicone on the outside, so they're softer and easier to handle. It could be as simple as every time you fill up their water bottle, you're just putting a dash of Celtic sea salt or Redmond salt. The salt needs to have some color with it. That could be enough, okay? If you want to go, first we'll talk about signs of dehydrations, then I'll show you what other products I really like to help with drinking water too. Signs of dehydration in your kids and you is going to be constipation, headaches, dry lips and skin, fatigue, irritability, and sometimes you need fun ways to get your kids to drink more water. Or as an adult, I've helped a lot of adults spice it up a little bit because a lot of people do not like drinking plain water. We've got the MetaPower blend. Of course, we've got these packets that you could add for your child for sure. We've got adding just like your citrus flavors, which is great for everybody to add to their water. You'd still want to add some salt in this scenario. And then there's some brands now. This is one of our favorites. Cure has a kids line. There's more than this, but these are nice travel hydration packs that have really good balance of electrolytes in them, and they taste really, really good. So this is what I would consider giving a child who you're trying to be more natural and holistic. This would be their juice. I will not be giving Tyler any other juice. He's just going to get flavored water. Okay, sleep. Maybe one of the most important things for us all. To promote healthier sleep, some good things to do is to have a really consistent bedtime routine, predictable timing, of course, but keep it simple, like activities and then a bath, reading some books, playing a little bit, praying together, dimming the lights. Our routine is we don't give baths every night because if he's not really dirty, I don't want to disrupt like his natural microbiome. But we will read books, we will rock, we will have the lights down low, but we always, always, always start the diffuser before any of that. So my favorite is, of course, the Serenity. I put in chamomile sometimes. I will put in Shinrin-yoku sometimes. It's one of my top favorites. If we're congested, putting like Airex in there. But Serenity for sure is by far my favorite. And to put that diffuser on, then you associate that smell. Your children do, and it just gets their brain knowing, okay, it's time to calm down and settle down. Dimming the lights, having a dark room. I think a dark room is great, but I think what's more important is making sure you don't have any artificial light. So if you have a TV in your bedroom, and even when the TV's off, there's a red light or other electronics that have lights on them, that is actually disrupting your sleep and your kids' sleep a lot more than you realize. Temperature, you want it slightly cooler, so 65 to 68 degrees depending. Usually you get a little more comfy under your covers and we're not waking up because it's too hot. Speaking of bedtime routines, Shane, I just heard him start the bath, which he puts chamomile sometimes in the bath too. Just like getting rid of any light in your rooms, you want to avoid screens and any blue light sources for at least 2 hours before bedtime. And that goes for us too. So those of us, I will raise my hand first. I don't do it anymore, but I used to be a scroller before bed. Laying in bed, you have your phone with you. You have to put it down at least 2 hours beforehand. That even goes for TV. I know a lot of us fall asleep with the TV on, and that's a very hard habit to break. But once you break it, you're going to notice you sleep so much better. Consistent waking time, I can take it or leave it. Some kids thrive at it. Other kids need the sleep. And if they're sleeping in one day, great. And if not the other, I will say Tyler's kind of all over the place. Some days he gets up around 7:30. And then every once in a while, he's sleeping till 8:30. And I will let him sleep because sleep is so important. When we are sleeping, we are all healing. The brain is shut off. You're not overthinking. It's when your body can cleanse things out and you literally are healing. So keep it simple. Keep it simple. The next interesting part to note is the non-toxic bedding in PJs. We spend half of our lives in bed. Okay, so what you're wearing while you're sleeping for pajamas and what your bedding is made of really, really matters. Do you want to be sleeping on plastic, polyester all night, or choosing something that is certified organic cotton or linen is much, much better. And people who change their bedding to those more natural fibers tend to have better sleep as well. Kids' clothes and pajamas are notorious for having flame retardants, which the original idea was good. It was that obviously you don't want their clothes to catch on fire if there's a fire at your house, but those flame retardants are extremely toxic and they're just going to absorb into your child's skin all night long. And you would think, let's say you do have some polyester blankets and sheets, you would think that the more you wash them, the less toxic they get, but it's actually the opposite. The older your polyester blankets and sheets are, the more toxic and more particles come off with every wash and every wear. So you want to look for the Global Organic Textile Standard. You're going to see this on baby clothing. You're going to look for that. This OEKO text is another good standard. And then now there's this made safe. So you really want to look for, especially this, the organic textiles when you're looking at your children's clothing and your own clothing. But you'll notice if you've ever been shopping for baby clothes, there's actually quite a few options now with those standards. Sleep support. So not only can your bedding be toxic, the soaps and things you use in the bathtub can be too. So we want to make sure that we're using clean baby products like the hair and body wash and the lotion. We have a diaper rash cream. The Serenity stick is amazing. We will put that on Tyler's feet before we go to bed. Just spraying your pillow, your bedding with Serenity can really help. The child's kit has the calmer, restful blend, and they even have really cute child diffusers. So Tyler has this little owl diffuser, and we usually, like I said, put in some Serenity and Roman chamomile. Now this is a Wellness Way supplement called Calm and Chill. It's got some valerian root and hops and things in it. I will give that to him at nighttime too. Okay, getting your bare feet in nature, that grounding. Like literally next week, the forest bathing, that's like this. We should be doing that much more often than we are. Getting in our movement, it helps with our children's balance, their feet development, getting a sensory input. Literal grounding helps our circadian rhythm, helps our sleep. Getting in that outdoor play. Nature is one of God's greatest gifts for growing healthy children. Every day outside gives children a healthy dose of sunshine, movement, sensory experience, and opportunities to explore. Sometimes the best medicine isn't found in a bottle, it's found just outside your front door. Having a 1.5-year-old, having gone through the newborn phase, sometimes it's best to just go outside. When things aren't going well, when they can't stop crying, when you don't know what else to do because you've done everything else, going outside can be a game changer. More outdoor support besides the sunscreen we talked about from the sunshine. Terra Shield, we want to make sure that we're protecting our kids from insects that we don't want to bite them, especially ticks. We want to be sure that we're checking for ticks if we're out in nature. We've got the blend that you can, make your own blend, make your own sprays. They have the spray made. And then if we do get any bites or rashes or things that correct us, X is really great for that. Okay, so like I said, I'm a chiropractor, so I'm going to preach the nervous system is a very, very crucial part of a healthy child and a healthy adult. Your nervous system is the most important organ in your body. It controls everything you do, taking in information from the inside and putting it out, and taking everything from the outside and bringing it in. Your brain and body's connection is so important, especially for children, because they're developing faster in their first 5 years than they ever will in the future. So things from birth it can be a stressor for both mom and baby and dad. They fall a lot. They're learning to walk, being put in a car seat for long periods of time. Then we get into sports and we have our different illnesses. All that can actually create a physical stress on the body. And it's not necessarily about pain. Most people will think, okay, go to the chiropractor when I'm in pain. I really want to debunk that. Once you're in pain, it's much more of a problem than you realize. This is something that is now ongoing and your body is finally signaling with the pain, but that's not where it starts. And our children are, not the best and sometimes can't, depending on their age, tell us where things hurt or if they hurt. So getting them regularly checked and adjusted by a chiropractor that sees kids and makes them comfortable is crucial. Helps them with that adaptability. Because like I said, your nervous system is so important. It literally tells everything in your body how to work and how to run. So even if one of these things, like your digestive system, is off, it can throw your nervous system off. It can throw off your respiratory system. It all's connected. It's like a Swiss watch. And when one little cog gets off, then the rest of them start to follow, and there's a domino effect. So the smartest way to prevent anything is to do something before it happens. That's where, as a wellness way, chiropractor, we think and try to categorize the things that make ourselves and our kids stressed and sick. They fall under these 3 T's. You've got the physical traumas, you've got the mental thoughts, which is some of the hardest things these days. And then you've got the toxins of our environment, that some we can control and some we can't. And all of those things tend to fill what I would say like our bucket, and then eventually that bucket overflows. So being able to adapt and handle the traumas, thoughts, and toxins on a daily basis, that means you're able to adapt and stay within that homeostasis or get back to homeostasis as fast as you can. Here's a really good example. We see it, like I said, a lot of kids in our office. I don't take x-rays on every kid, but this was a 6-year-old boy with ADHD. He was a problem child in the classroom, and mom and dad didn't really want to do medications, but the teachers were on them to do something, There were days that he was having to get picked up because he was being so naughty. He also had eczema and was suffering from constipation. Now, this is pre and post. This is literally bowel gas and backed up poop, essentially, from all that constipation. Now, those of us who have ever had constipation issues, it's not fun and it hurts, and that toxins that are supposed to be eliminated are circulating in your body. So it can cause irritability, anger, headaches, and then the skin is showing eczema, right? But really it's stemming from the inside. Anything you find on your skin, 9.9 times out of 10, there's something going on internal and it's getting pushed out, and your skin is just going to show it. After we tested his food allergies, we found, and he eliminated those. This is what his post x-ray looked like. So he didn't have any more constipation. Here are his food allergy test results. So he was anaphylactic, which anaphylactic, like peanut allergy, to almond, soy, eggs, milk, peanuts, and wheat. And they had no idea about any of that. Now, he wasn't having throat closing experiences, thank God, but he was having a whole host of other very severe experiences. Your nervous system, when it is highly active like this and literally fighting for your life, it shows up very different in person to person. The rest of these food allergies at the bottom are what are called IgG. These are what people more call like a sensitivity. These still put gas on the fire as far as inflammation goes, and this is a huge burden on their immune system. When kids get their food allergies tested and start to avoid them, the ADHD and hypersensitivity decreases dramatically. Their attention's much longer. They're much more enjoyable kids. I mean, their whole world changes from the inside out. And then I had this 5-year-old girl. She had frequent urination. She also had a lot of sensitivities. Her parents knew she had food allergies already and were avoiding most of them. She'd have some skin flare-ups. She was really tired all the time. One of the biggest things, I mean, as a kid, she had 4 older siblings and they always wanted to go to the pool. And she couldn't swim in the pool because every time she'd get in the pool, she would break out with a terrible rash that would not go away for over a week. So when she came in, she literally sat there as a 5-year-old and just said, I want to be able to swim. I want to go to the pool. And her brothers and sisters were in with her. And we, like I said, we think a little differently. I asked a lot of questions about how this started, when things get worse and when they get better. And we were able to kind of correlate that when she went to grandma's house, she ended up coming home with a lot of sensitivities, rashes, and would start urinating more when she was there. And she'd come back and have dark circles under her eyes. Now, at first, they were like, she's having fun. And of course, grandma's super fun and they're playing all the time. But we actually tested her for mold and found out that grandma's house had a pretty high mold exposure. And she was the kid with the issue with it. There's usually 1, maybe 2 family members that show the signs. Not that the other kids were perfect, but hers was severe enough that it was time to dig a little further. So she had 3 major molds that were through her body, and they literally affected every system. Now, obviously grandma's not moving. We know grandma's house is the exposure point. We have a conversation with grandma to be a little more careful, try to play outside a little bit more than stay inside when you can. But really what we did was help this little girl's body with the exposure, how to handle it better. We gave her some binders. We helped her detox. We filled some nutritional gaps so her body could detox things appropriately. And now, for the last 2 years, she's been able to go swimming every time she wants to. And that's always one of the biggest things that she raves about when she comes back into the office is that we went swimming or we went to the Dells all weekend long and I didn't get a rash. So that's so fun in my line of work. Now we're going to hop into some common childhood concerns. Ear infections, super common. 80 to 90% of children will at least have 1 ear infection by age 3. 80 to 90%. of the 80% of ear infections that happen, most of them, 80% of ear infections are going to improve by themselves in 2 to 3 days. Obviously, it's not comfortable. I had a lot of ear infections as a child. Um, Now, it's one of the most common times that you're going to bring your child to the pediatrician. They're going to look in their ear and they're going to offer antibiotics. Now, what kills me is that nearly 80 to 90% of those ear infections are not bacterial related, which is what an antibiotic's going to go after. So we're giving an antibiotic for something that's not, that we don't need to, essentially. And now the stats that on average by 10 years old, kids are given at least 6 rounds of antibiotics, and antibiotics wreak havoc on the gut, mess up the immune system, start that domino cascade of many, many different things for kids. And ear infections are one of the most commonly reasons that pediatricians are going to prescribe antibiotics. So I see tons of kids. I just had a kid last week who came in. Actually, the older sister of the little girl who couldn't swim in the pools, her older sister came in because her ear was hurting. And as a chiropractor, I can look in the ears. I can check all that out. And I adjusted her. The upper neck is usually what's off, and it's almost like you have a kink in the hose and fluid can't drain like it's supposed to. So it pools and makes this perfect environment for an infection. Her eardrum was about to rupture. Like, it was bad. I sent her home with a I'm going to probably say this wrong. I always say it wrong. Copaiba roller. That's what I give every kid. And we roll it behind their ear and down their neck in the front of their ear. There's other natural things which I'm going to share. But first and foremost, adjustments work incredibly well for ear infections. So I gave her this blender roller to take home. Frankincense, whether it's in this same type of roller or you get the stick, incredible. To rub behind the ear, down the neck, in front of the ear, on the bottom of the feet. And then I had her mom, actually it was her grandma, it was her grandma, do some colloidal silver. And this is super blurry. I'm sorry about that. But colloidal silver, as long as the eardrum is not ruptured, is safe to put directly in the ear, and it takes it away very, very quickly. Tea tree can also help. We want to make sure it's diluted. Fermented like garlic oils, mullein oils. There's so many things, but these are the things that I recommend and will use and have used with Tyler. We also have like an immune system dropper that I would give to help with the immune system during an infection. Okay, and then we got your common cold, especially when kids are going to go back to school now. What are they going to bring home? Diffusers are the best, keeping them going all the time. I've got most of the local teachers using diffusers all the time in their classrooms, whether that's to keep themselves healthy, the kids healthy, or the attention span there. But I want, whether it's an ear infection, a cold, the flu, something I want to send home is that it's okay if your child gets sick. That is a normal response. That's a healthy response. When kids don't get sick at all, sometimes there's something underlying that's not so good happening where their immune system is so fatigued. So it's okay that they get sick. It's not a big deal. We just need to support their little bodies through it because it's going to build their immune response, their immune memory, helps their microbiome, trains their body how to adapt and heal, and helps their resilience. We want them to have strong immune systems. So other cold support, we got the frankincense, the copaiba, the colloidal silver again. Whether you make your own elderberry, but elderberry is really, really effective for upper respiratory, like colds, coughs, sinus congestion, viral stuff. Very, very good at that. And then we have an herbal throat spray. There's like the Beekeepers has an herbal throat spray. If your child's old enough that they're telling you their throat hurts and you can spray something in their mouth, that can be very soothing too. Teething. We have gone through this and have continued to go through this. You're going to see increased drooling, swollen gums. Sometimes it looks like they have an ear infection, but it's part of the teething because everything is so close, especially if they're working on their back molars. That's why it's really nice to get checked like by a chiropractor that can look in their ears and kind of rule out everything, take in the bigger picture. We did frozen washcloths for Tyler, comfort feeding, of course, getting adjusted to help their body adapt. And then I made a roller that I literally keep on me at all times because even though if he's not teething, it's still a very calming blend. So there's some Roman chamomile, lavender, Copaiba. You can put more in there, but those are the best in my opinion to make a blend. And I always use the doTERRA's fractionated coconut oil to dilute it properly. Here are some of my other tricks. Of course, we got these two back. Sometimes a good quality CBD is very, very helpful when things are really, really rough. You literally can rub it right on their gums and that helps with the pain. Tyler wears an amber necklace. The amber is natural and when it heats on your skin, it helps with pain relief. Now you do have to be careful that they're not going to pull this because it is a choking hazard if they mess with it too much. He's done great with his. And they make things like this now where you can freeze milk, you can freeze fruit, different things like that, and they can kind of chew on it, gnaw on it. And then there's this brand Earthly that has kind of been a lifesaver. They have a teeth tamer. And it's got clove, clove, I don't even know why I didn't have clove on here, duh. Clove is so good with oral pain. So you could dilute some clove and literally put that in their mouth too. I mean, I've done that when my tooth hurts, when I've had dental pain before. So I should have had clove on here. I also have green onions because green onions also help with the pain with teething. They can just kind of gnaw on it. Constipation. The first thing I always ask parents when kids are constipated is how much water are they drinking? Because it's usually a dehydration issue first and foremost. And if they're really good about the water, then you're asking movement, you're asking about their diet, getting adjusted. We joke that there's a poop button because I get kids coming in all the time that haven't pooped in days. I adjust them certain spots in your pelvis, your sacrum, your lower back. Literally talk to your colon, talk to your stomach. And the record for most amount of diapers filled in my office before leaving was 5. There was a child who hadn't pooped in 5 days and filled 5 diapers before they left my office because it was such a release. DigestZen is always great, obviously, for digestive issues. Tummy massage going in a clockwise direction. If you're looking at your child's belly, it'd be clockwise to help that movement. But mostly it's hydration. Skin issues, like in the example before, things are going on the inside that tend to show up on the outside. So you really want to look at the gut, support the gut. Taking probiotics is going to be helpful. Looking at the foods we're eating, reducing fragrance, toxic products, things like that, especially what we're cleaning our kids' clothes with. I have a lot of conversations about what detergents we're using because they can be very harsh and cause that contact dermatitis, hydration, sun, all of that stuff is important. And then we can always make our own blends with some of the amazing doTERRA products. So here I've got the On Guard, even hand wash. Some people have literally had to take the hand wash with them to work because the stuff at work or at school is so harsh that it hurts their hands. This is a 14-year-old who, I'm trying to remember, he didn't come in originally. He came in just for adjustments. And then finally, after a while, he opened up and was talking about how he was having both constipation, but then like urgent loose bowels. And it was starting to affect school because he was having to leave class. And some of the teachers were obviously concerned, but some of the teachers were also not believing him that he was actually having to go to the bathroom so many times during their class. So we did a stool test. We did some food allergies. And there were skin issues, but that it resulted from all the digestive stuff going on. I mean, he had tons of stuff going on the inside. Okay, the fevers. I want to say that you don't need to fear a fever. It can be scary. It can be hard to watch. Tyler has gone through a couple of them. If you're a little bit older, you yourself or your siblings, you might have seen or experienced a febrile seizure, which is not something to fear per se. That is when your body is going into a total reset. Typically, you come out of it and you're perfectly fine. Definitely a good idea to get adjusted. I have adjusted kids with very high fevers, and within minutes, they are down to normal. Giving really good nutritious food, bone broth, whatever they can tolerate. You know, I usually don't feel like eating, but keeping hydration is key. Cooling the body if it's getting too out of hand with cold washcloths, lukewarm baths, skin-on-skin contact. If you're getting really nervous, you could do ice packs under the armpits and the groin. Probably doesn't usually get to that point. The skin on skin is a great way. They will match your skin temperature. And like I said, hydration. Okay, this is, we're getting towards the end. I only have a couple left, but mouth breathing has been a big, big topic lately. And if you haven't heard about it, you're going to start hearing about it. There's a lot of recent things that are showing that if your kids are mouth breathers or if you yourself is a mouth breather, whether that's during the day or during the night, it has a dramatic effect on their development, not only structurally in their mouth, but just all around body development and staying healthy. Because if you're a mouth breather when you sleep, you're not getting as good quality sleep as you think you are. It can change their behavior because, of course, if you're not sleeping well, attention, dental development. So if you notice, like when we had Tyler, when he was first born, he would naturally have his mouth open, and you can gently close a newborn's mouth and try to train them to breathe through their nose rather than their mouth, because your nose is really where you're supposed to be breathing through. It's going to moisten, and all the hairs in your nose are going to grab anything that's not supposed to go into your body, like a filter. Again, we're beautifully designed. But lately, we have this epidemic of mouth breathers, and it's in us adults too. So there are dentists called airway dentists, and I have had to make a couple referrals. So if you notice that you see your child, your grandchild, even yourself, that you have like an underdeveloped jaw, you can see this guy, it's just like kind of is underneath. It's not prominent, especially as a male, or this little girl, you know, it's really underdeveloped, and her teeth are really close together. You'll notice that too. A good sign of mouth development is the baby teeth should have space between each tooth, and if they don't, then that oral cavity is not developing, not expanding as wide as it should. And after they see a airway dentist, sometimes it doesn't take much. Sometimes it's just myofacial therapy with tongue exercises. Sometimes they do need like an expander, but not just your orthodontic expander, because orthodontics are going to be more appearance based, not functional based. This tooth pillow, if you scan this QR code, if you take a picture of that, it'll bring you to a website where you can find a airway dentist, and it actually gives you like a quiz, like a questionnaire for your kids and for yourself to see if you're a good candidate for it. So very, very interesting and hot topic lately. Okay, here's my holistic medicine cabinet, okay? I always have Copaiba, of course, On Guard, DigestZen. We've got TerraShield. Apple cider vinegar is fantastic to add in baths when there's a fever going on. We've got your Correct X. Silver gel is kind of similar to that. Sometimes I'll use silver gel on rashes or kind of this, they're very similar. CBD for high pain situations. We've got some of our immune, calm and chill, vitamin D. Colloidal silver, the dropper can go in ears, in eyes, you name it. It's very, pets can use it. There's like a nasal version of colloidal silver you can get for sinus infections. Big one is actually a nebulizer. They make these really easy and nice portable chargeable nebulizers now, and you want to buy some saline solution with them, and you can nebulize just saline. You can nebulize saline and colloidal silver. If we've got a consistent chronic cough, respiratory stuff, we're afraid of pneumonia. We did a lot of this back in COVID for people, and it worked wonders. And then that earthly teeth tamer was kind of a saving grace for us too. These are my daily do's, we'll call them. Okay. So probiotic daily. You can take elderberry daily. Very helpful. I usually do some Immune Plus. Some type of fish oil. Obviously, we've got it, but if a child can't swallow and if you can't mix it into something that they're going to tolerate, you find a really good cod liver oil is going to be the best. And then doTERRA has the A to Z chewable tablets. Now, these are for kids that are 4 years and older, but amazing daily support. Then these are so fun. If you haven't gotten these for your kids or your grandkids, the kids collection, it's got all the matching colored caps. It's got the cute little travel case. And then it has all these flashcards to say what each one does and how you can use it. It's very entertaining for kids to try. I have, just like the diffusers going in schools like crazy, a lot of teachers, especially with learning disabilities and other disabilities, will have this whole kit in their classroom. And then they will ask the kid, what one, they get to choose. The child gets to choose which roller they want to use that day, that morning or that afternoon. So it can become fun and interactive and even set the tone, just kind of like the bedtime routine. It can set the tone for a school routine. So those are really fun. Tyler already has some of those. Obviously, at 1.5 years, he's not reading and not really doing things appropriately, but he takes it out and he carries his little bag around and he flashes through the cards, and we just play with them and try things out. And we've got the VE Omega too, which is usually an adult thing, but if your child is old enough to swallow capsules, that would be an incredible daily support for them as well. All right. Went a little bit over, so I apologize, but I just want to thank everybody. I know we've got quite a few questions, so I will let Sandy take over from here, and then we can answer those questions when you're ready.